everyone. Welcome to the CollabCast. I'm editor Katie Cusack, and I'm here with Joe Gietl and Mu-Shaka Benson. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
For those who don't know, Joe is the writer and director of Avoid, which was recently released.
Not released,
but it did play. Yes. Wrapped and
post-production, editing, and
so
all that
finished.
Meticulous, horrible process.
So
fun,
when can people see it?
I'm hoping sometime in early 2020. That's what I'm shooting for. I didn't put like a hard date on it yet, but
we shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't do that.
No planning here.
I'm not gonna like Kanye West it and just keep pushing it, but
that guy.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
So your neighbor? No, I'm just
kidding. Oh yeah. So my neighbor. It's okay. We're just rolling with it.
Yeah.
So before we recorded this podcast, we were talking about our mornings and our neighbors.
The great snow.
Isn't it great?
Yeah. The great snow
weather
of 2019.
that we're having
already
again today.
6th.
We started the week with it. We're finishing the week with it. Who knows? There'll probably be more.
Nice symmetry to that. Yeah.
We have another,
what a
8
beautiful
months
thing.
Winter, I think.
Yeah.
Is that what the groundhog said?
That's
8 months?
common. Another 8 months.
Yeah.
So
just
it'll never be
we
over.
get like a week of summer,
and then it'll be really, really hot for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
everyone will complain that it's too hot.
Yeah.
Then we go back in the winter.
I actually just wrote a line like that in a
Really?
script as like
The
just
new
like
one?
a background dialogue, like somebody complaining about the weather. Like you said the same thing in the summer. It's like a
Yes.
in passing. It's we'd all do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's this, we're constantly talking about it. We can't stop. What is that? It's like this weird, like you said, like an anxiety about the weather. Like we're constantly wondering if it's going to just like bury us.
I started to sort of do that little trickling snow when I was out this morning, running errands, and I'm like, please don't snow hard. And you say that to yourself the whole time, and all of a sudden it just starts, boom.
Yeah.
God damn it, I have to drive
Yeah.
this today.
And it always falls
I
like when you
know
have
it.
something to do. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
Or I'm like
Can you
walking
chill out?
into the building, like surrounded by children, and it's just like blowing at me,
Yes.
and I'm like,
And
can't
you
see
just,
anything,
like-
and everyone's screaming.
Yeah.
It's a horror story.
And you're just saying like, fuck everything.
Yeah.
The whole time. I just swore on
horrifying.
there.
It's cool.
It's fine.
Okay, good.
No kids are listening.
Oh,
No kids.
there's no kids here.
Do not show this to children.
Yeah. No, it's
Just,
just,
as long as we don't swear out there, we're all right.
Yeah.
I did, actually.
This is a safe space.
I did in front of children.
They heard you, bro.
It was an
Yeah,
accident.
they're like,
though.
I think they heard. Hey, were you swearing in
I'm
there?
pretty sure their parents swear.
I heard you.
Um,
But yeah, so today it's just a horrorscape. And this
Yes.
morning when I was coming out of my apartment, I opened the door and there was just this woman just staring at me in the eye. It's like straight in the eyes, just standing in front of my door. And she just goes, "Oh my God." And I was like, what?
What
And
does
then
that
she
mean?
was surprised that I just like had opened the door so quickly because I'm late to everything forever.
I'm sorry, did I scare you opening my door?
And she's just standing there. And then she just proceeded to like walk next to me on the sidewalk for a long time. And I was like,
Was she muttering
that
things
awkward, like,
then?
oh man, we're going the same direction.
Just turn around and go to the
Just gonna like get on my phone for a second, let you get ahead.
Yeah.
So it's that was an uncomfortable thing, and I don't know if she's my neighbor, but not as scary as your neighbor screaming at you from
Oh my
or at
God.
your dog from down the street.
Yeah, so
Yeah, when they spot you first from
That's
several blocks.
I swear to God, it's
know
like a
that you're
mile
being
away.
Watched
Yeah.
is an upsetting.
This
feeling.
woman, every time I walk my dog, every single time I walk my dog, I'm like looking for her. I'm like, where's she gonna come from this time? And from like 2 blocks away, she'll come and like she's talking to my dog from like 2 blocks
Yeah.
away. It's like, oh, hello, puppy. I'm like, where did you come from? And why are you saying it from so
Why
far
does
away?
it sound like your voice is
When
all
you're
around
gonna
me?
be on your porch, you're gonna walk out. Hi, puppy. Oh my God.
And she has this little dog too. It's like a poodle or some like one of those Maltese or small dog, and it doesn't like my dog. And I'm like, why are you encouraging this meeting?
Yeah.
She just wants
never
to
said a
admire
word
your
to me.
dog from afar.
I'm like,
just talked
"How
to
you
your
doing?"
dog.
That's the best when people just like will only talk to the dog.
Yeah.
And not to you at all. And then it's like they just get up and keep walking. And
It's like cool. I understand, man.
Best interaction
I like
I've
your
ever
dog
had.
better than you too, so I get it.
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't want to make small talk with you.
Right.
It's great.
Like
I've
the
done
weather.
that to people actually. I've caught myself doing that. Like,
Yeah.
I'll pet the dog and I'll forget to look the person in the face. Yeah. Like, I won't even know what I don't know what the person looked like.
Walking over, you're like, what was that dog doing by itself in the street?
Was there a human nearby? I don't know.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, crazy things all around us.
I don't have a neighbor
The
story
world is weird.
from this morning.
Oh,
got
I'm
nothing?
sorry.
Not a neighbor. No.
Yeah, just like a
can take one of
peaceful,
mine.
I
solitary.
didn't need any. This morning I was completely unbothered. I do have a neighbor.
Love to hear it.
The lady who lives downstairs from me, she has 2 cats. Okay, I like cats, obviously, but she has a
Obviously.
bird. I know. I don't know why I said obviously, but she has a bird, and the bird screams all day. Like, I'm not going to imitate what the bird does, but all day, and she'll scream at it and she'll yell at it. So I listen to that all day.
They're
and
just
then,
constantly fighting.
You
Yeah,
never
like,
know, man.
they
I might
fight,
write
like,
a,
she
I might
argues
write a
with her
bird
bird.
roll for you. Or
Yeah.
give me the start of
Just,
Yeah.
the next anime.
That'll be the one. That'll be the one. That'll be
What's
the
the sequel?
big
What's that
one.
movie? Madagascar?
Did
Yeah.
I see that? I don't remember. Is that the one with
Ben Stiller.
Yeah, and Chris Rock, right?
That's
Yeah.
literally the last
Doesn't he-
movie I would have thought I would have brought up coming in. Madagascar.
Hell, man. Random stuff. That's great.
What's the most inspirational film in your
Madagascar.
life? It's
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Naturally.
I was thinking Ice
I'm gonna
Age
come
for a
on the-
second, but
yeah.
no, I'm just kidding.
Remember that?
I
Wow.
thought you were asking the
I mean,
on the
yeah.
real though.
Yeah, on the real.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
jump into
Let's
it.
jump into the real stuff.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Why not? Madagascar.
Yeah.
Filmmaking.
I mean, it's
We
hard
did
to
it. Segue.
Full
top
circle.
that.
That's right. Yeah, how do you do it?
How do I do it? Okay, so what I'm in, I guess, one director I'm into right now is Robert Altman. Kind of just like going through his whole filmography, and see, this is where it gets weird. This is where it's like now I'm talking about
Let's
real
do it,
stuff,
man.
and it sucks.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Not at all.
Trust yourself.
They want to know, man. Everyone
Yeah.
wants to know.
Goodness.
No, but
great.
Robert Altman. I just watched a movie of his called The Player, and it's from I think 1992, and it opens up with like this like I don't know maybe like 8-minute tracking shot, and it's like a movie about Hollywood, so it's like referencing all other great tracking shots, and then it's hard to explain, but it just goes around in like little vignettes and picks up pieces of like somebody talking, and then it moves on to the next person. And
Yeah.
it has this like really lived in feel, and I love that.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I'm kind of trying to incorporate more into my
Cool.
films as an influence of mine. And I also just saw, I don't know what even saw, Parasite.
No, I haven't seen it. Mike,
yet.
you and Micah have been raving about that. Not just, I mean, I've been hearing all kinds
Great
of great things about that.
things.
And I have not seen where I don't know.
I won't spoil it then. I saw it at
Don't.
the Spectrum, but my God, it's amazing.
You know what? I
So
should go
good.
see it this weekend. I mean, I'm free all weekend.
Yeah.
I should go see it.
It's been a good year. I feel like we've had a lot of, like The Lighthouse just came out.
Yeah.
The
That's another one.
Irishman.
I haven't seen that
I
yet. and
actually like
really
The
want
Irishman.
to.
I know
I
it's
did
long
too.
and it's a bit of a slog, but
Did you watch it in one sitting? I did.
well, I watched it over the course of like I made a day of it, kind of, because like I was like, crap, I gotta go to dinner. All right,
Yeah,
I gotta-
yeah.
yeah.
like, I guess I'll put The Irishman on hold for a minute.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a typical Scorsese gangster movie for the first like 2 hours, and I like that, but
same.
that last hour, man, or whatever, last hour and a half, it really, really kind of like, I don't know, finalizes what he's been trying
Yeah.
to say for the entirety of his career, really, why he's been so
Wow.
interested with these stories.
Yeah.
I think there's like two kinds of filmmakers, ones that kind of relentlessly go after the same type of themes, and he might fall. He does like a lot of different things, so maybe he doesn't fall into that. But like Bergman is definitely somebody like that. Probably Kurosawa, like a lot of and I kind of feel like, for some reason, I'm not comparing myself to those guys at all, but I kind of feel like I keep having these things and these same questions that come up
Yeah.
when I set out to write something, and I might be chasing those for my entire life, and in a way, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, let's jump into sort of what your films are about, for those who aren't familiar. Can you sort of explain the storyline of Avoid?
Yeah. Do you want to take it? You want me to take it?
And also what your role is in
well,
it
okay,
as
so
well. Yeah.
I play Paul, the husband of one of the lead actors.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Avoid is like, I think it explores loss.
Mm-hmm.
It's a couple who lose their very, very young son.
Yeah.
And they both deal with that loss in different ways. The wife, she's a brilliant scientist, and I don't want to give too much away, but she's, I guess, diving into her work, but she's doing something that's probably
coping mechanism.
Yeah.
To just like throw herself deeper into her work, which is like she's like not having much success prior to the passing of her son, and like it kind of it leads to a sort of breakthrough after the passing of the son, and kind of explores like this transference of grief. In a way, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. That was a good pickup.
Yeah.
Do that when you find it. Okay,
I'll find it in. Just
crash and burn. But yeah, it's the husband is also dealing with it, but he's, I guess,
he's going through it. He's really feeling it. You know.
Yeah. He's the brunt of it is like just on him.
Yeah.
And she's avoiding it.
Yeah.
So.
And so it's kind of like the thing that they're avoiding in their relationship, and it kind of builds to a moment in the film where a lot of truth is finally said about how each one of them feels about each other,
right.
And they're kind of tiptoeing and walking on eggshells around each other, and you see what it was, and it's like a non-linear story. It's kind of like a rubber band. Which that idea kind of came from another film. It's a weird segue, but I saw this movie at the Spectrum a couple of years ago called One More Time with Feeling, and it was a Nick Cave documentary, and he was making he's one of my favorite artists, and he was making his album Skeleton Tree at the time, and during the making of a documentary, they were making it about the movie, about the record, and during the making of the documentary, his son died.
Right.
And so the movie obviously changed, and the record changed, and it became this like very truthful, heartbreaking
project.
Incredible exploration of grief.
Yeah.
Like the truest thing you could possibly. It just felt so pure, and he compared grief to being like attached to a rubber band, and how you just kind of keep, no matter how far away you try to get, you keep coming back to this event. And from that standpoint, I thought the best way to tell the story, or I felt like the aha moment, is when I figured out how it kind of, the transitions, like somebody will close a drawer and then a drawer will open and we'll be in a different time period, and like, and having it kind of keep snapping back to this event, and the characters can never really get away from it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, just an incredible film. I wish they would release it on Blu-ray, because I want to pick it up, but like they only have like the DVD version of it now.
Really?
But highly recommend that movie if you ever get it. I know you're into music mostly, so I think you'd really
I'd love to check it out.
Get a lot out of that
great. I mean, I think it's cool that, and obviously this is, kind of like why art exists, if you want to think in a bigger picture, but like how we can pick up moments like that and turn it into something completely new and different.
I think going into it, I mean, I guess if all we're doing is entertaining somebody, I feel like that's not enough, or at least for me. And I need to, like, the movies that really hit me, I feel like they reflected some truth about myself that I wasn't aware of, or was imperceptibly aware of. And it was like, I've never thought about it this way. And it hit me, it changed my life. And I want to give that feeling to somebody else more than anything. And so I feel like my movies tend to be, or scripts that I'm writing tend to be really personal, and they feel like something is missing until I find that extra layer that is like, okay, that's what I need to tell that story, because that is unique to me. And usually it ends up being the most universal thing. Like when I found the part with Max, how I found Max tied in to the sun, how the sun passing away tied in. Originally, that wasn't there. So I, worked for a good amount of time to and then when that clicked, it was like this, like, oh my God, it just all kind of worked. And there's nothing better. I think Kubrick said that, like, there's no greater joy in life than feeling that puzzle like click together finally. Because that's sort of how I write. I'm not super organized, unfortunately. I mean, I use like screenwriting programs and stuff like that, which helps a lot. So it's not just like crazy scribbles in a journal anymore.
Like a puzzle.
Yeah.
I do. I'm not to interrupt you.
Not at all.
But when I've written scripts, I don't write it like it's not linear. I just write pieces, and then
you kind of figure it out as you go along. Type of thing.
It's like,
everyone has their way of doing it, but I can't just like straight up outline point A to point B, and have it be what it's gonna. I have to kind of discover who these people are, and figure out how to portray complex human beings, like why they're doing what they're doing, and if I can't answer that, it's not done. I guess.
I've even started with the ending. I've written the ending first.
A lot of the time it could start with something way down the line, and then you're like, how do we get there?
Yeah.
Right backwards.
Or I imagine too, like sort of visualizations of like things or places you want people to be, and it's like I have this in my mind and like this conversation happening, but why are they talking and who are like it's like like you
sort of ride around.
Yeah. I mean that's.
So I'm very excited. I'm very excited for everyone to see this because we put so much effort into it. And pre-production meetings and getting together
for weeks and weeks.
Phone calls talking about the characters and just so many people just put so much time from the production designer. I must have met with John Stegman, the production designer. Let me give him a shout out right now. Let me give my people a shout out. John Stegman probably 30 times or something like that. It always ran. He's super busy and always ran for like 2 hours every session. He's like, you always keep me here for not like all in good fun, but And Jim Powers, our DP, who I'm currently also editing the movie with, brilliant guy. John Yost, also with APB Films. That's that group. And then there's Lawrence Basso as well, who's doing the effects, and he actually did all the artwork in the journal that's in Vera's movie, which is like, it's like a full journal. He drew by hand an entire fake journal prop, and it's my favorite thing now. It's so cool. And it's like researched, and like he's like, this is real science. So like it'll check out.
It'll check out for all
it is really cool.
Like, I'm gonna check it when I get home.
What did he draw? Like a wormhole, or like these weird wormhole diagrams? Wasn't that what it was?
It was like so much stuff like that, like singularities and white holes and black holes and quantum physics and
stuff that we
calculations and and then you see how this. Well, I don't know if I should give this away. Like,
well,
you're looking at me, dude.
What is it? I don't know what you're gonna say. Don't give too much away.
It's a good moment. It's a good moment in the movie.
Is it the
when we get to see what's inside the journal?
Yeah, well, that's good enough.
Yeah.
You don't have to elaborate.
Yeah.
So have you been involved with the project since like the very beginning, or how did you guys link up?
Oh my gosh! Well, long story. I'll tell a long story.
Yeah.
All right. So
we have time.
I was at a point with my acting career where I was in a dark place. I think I told you this, and I was contemplating quitting. Because there was just this drought of nothing, and I was booking nothing. So I was just like, this shit, screw this, And out of the blue, I get a message from him. Now, I didn't know who he was. Never heard of Joe. No, I didn't know who he was. So I read his message, and he was like, I heard about you from Micah Khan, who's another mutual friend of ours, who I want to just say, that guy is always throwing my name around. He goes to these networking events, and he's always telling people about me, which I appreciate. So I just want to point that out. Anyway, I read the script. He pitched me the script. And he sent it to me, and I read it. I'm like, I'm doing this like immediately. It was everything that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like the sci-fi, all that shit. I'm like, this is great. So I got back to him, and I'm like, I want to do this. I'm good. The entire time I was reading the script, I kept visualizing who would play Vera, right? And I think, I remember, I'm like, I only see one person playing this character, one person. So I asked him, who do you have in mind to play Vera? I knew who I was thinking, and then he goes Kristen, and I'm like, this is perfect. Like everything is falling into place. But at that point, I don't think that she actually.
It all culminated on that one morning. It was like
it did.
I was like, I hadn't heard back. She hadn't like checked her Facebook message. I did the same thing. I knew that she had worked with APB Films before and had relationships with people that I was friends with. Kristen's a phenomenal actress. She couldn't be here today because of some cool career news for her. But
good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations, Kristen. You see this?
Cool.
Lost my train of thought. But we were talking about that, and then right as we were talking about that, she like messaged me back. She's like, "I would love to," and I had like hadn't heard back from her for like 3 days.
I messaged her.
Like things just,
I did.
Did you?
I did. I'm like, you should take this part. I'm like, did you read? I'm like, did you hear from Joe? Like she goes, I didn't get a message, and I'm like, it's probably in your other folder. And then she told me that she got, and it all just came together. It all fell together.
Some of the greatest things that have happened to me so far with this stuff is just like when I reach out to somebody and I'm kind of like scared to do that. Same thing with Brooks on Museum, Brooks Ganan, who's like doing incredible things now with his modeling and music and just hit him up out of the blue and we kind of a lot of great friendships actually have come out of that too.
He's great.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah. We just had the chance to meet him when we were at Basilica Soundscape. He was performing there.
Right. Yeah,
and we were like, what? You're
excited.
From Albany? This is crazy. And then it was like this roundabout thing. It's kind of cool how these things happen. Everybody is so linked up. It's such a small little world.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's like, it's cool to just, I'm just trying to surround myself, I guess, with just, positive, talented people.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have
committed.
A really good committed.
Seems like too, like really investing in not only their own roles, but like how to make the project better for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's
definitely.
We're hoping that this pays off all the work that has gone into this, because I'm currently writing a feature film right now. And that's what my next step. I'm trying to make that my next step. I think I'm ready for that. And there's a story that has it's captivated me more than I thought it would during the editing process of Avoid. So I have to like fight the urge to totally give myself totally to this next idea.
Right.
But it's like 2 hours long, like maybe even longer than that. It's like, it feels like this is the story that I've been trying, other than, Avoid, I felt the same way, but this is like a really personal story to me about drug abuse and addiction, which was something that when I was young, I kind of went through some really personal stuff with that. And it's the thing I've been trying to tell a story about for 10 years now, since I, became sober.
Yeah.
And I felt like maybe I needed to, I think what it is I needed to have like the right amount of separation from it to not be telling my own story. You know what I mean? To be able to tell other people's story, but also have bits of my own experience like informing like what's what's going on, and like so it's real.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like you're exploring a lot of themes of like emotional turmoil and like a lot of tension, and to be able to see how, I mean, that's another thing of like when we're watching other projects or like experiencing other like music, TV, whatever, we could be watching a story about a completely different subject and still feel the same thing, the way it relates to your own experience, even though it could be something completely different, you know? Right. It's just crazy how that works. Yeah, like I just started watching that show, or I'm like halfway through season 2, but do you ever watch Broadchurch?
No.
Like I know what it is. I haven't seen it yet, though.
It also deals with like the murder of a child in this really small town.
Does that have the woman from Mad Men?
Yeah. No. It's the woman who plays
I think my top of the list,
Queen Elizabeth in The Crown now, and I can't remember.
Olivia Colman.
Yes.
She's
she's so good.
She still always will be you ever seen Peep Show?
No, I've never seen that.
Sophie from Peep Show.
I've heard of it.
Never seen that.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but it's fantastic and like heartbreaking and really intense. But it's just like there are very few things that make me cry. That show like made me cry. It's like, and it's because it's like, and I like haven't experienced anything like that. Like, you know, but you are
put yourself
equating
in
it.
that position.
Yeah.
Right.
And like thinking about the idea of grief in your own life, and you're like, fuck, you know, like it's just like overwhelming, and it doesn't have to be so specific to like, you know, a scene by scene of your life. It just has to be that same like human emotion, and like to be able to grapple with that is really
it's like presented truthfully. You know what I mean? So like even if it hasn't happened to you, you can totally imagine what that would be like.
For me, the film that did that to me, and I don't cry either, but Wind River. Have you ever seen Wind River?
No.
I never
Wind
finished
River.
that movie.
Man, I think I told you about that. Anyway,
it's a good movie.
Good
movie. From what I've
I
seen.
was almost on my knees just bawling. It was such a poignant film, and it's so touching. And there was a monologue that Jeremy Renner's character gives, and I'm just like, I was a mess, and I'm just like, I can't believe this is because I could feel that. I have a daughter, and not to give too much away, but in the film, there's a young woman who's murdered, and she's brutally murdered.
Right.
And I can just feel that whole movie.
Yeah.
You have to watch Wind River. That's your homework.
Everyone at home watch Wind River and cry.
Watch Wind River. You will cry a lot.
Yeah.
I cry at like everything. I cry. I'm telling, like, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I just watched that for the first time.
Did you lose it?
No, I didn't.
John Candy in that movie.
But he's so sweet.
I've never seen that. Wow. And it's been on in my presence too, and I've never watched it.
You get made fun of? No.
Really?
No, you know, like, I don't mean...
Yeah, okay.
I'm not bullied or anything like that.
Oh, man. Now I have to watch it. Now I have to watch it.
Yeah.
For sure.
But something about that movie, I guess because it's, you know, Thanksgiving, I just watched it. But there was a review by Ebert how he talked about that movie. It's like a really good review. And he talks about running into John Candy in a bar, like I don't know, like early, like probably close to when he passed away, and how he was this like super talented, like nice. Nobody ever had a bad word to say about him. Wonderful man, but he was just lonely and sad, and how much truth is captured in this like comedy. Yeah. About empathy, and it doesn't always need to be some, you know, broad message or like some crazy. It can be something really simple as just like empathy for the other guy, and how Steve Martin in that movie is lonely too. He just doesn't realize it because he has life. He has like he's working all the time.
Yeah.
And he doesn't understand that, and then I don't know. So I think that's a really underrated movie for that reason. There's more going on there.
I'm going to put that on my list. I haven't seen it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had many chances to watch it, never watched it.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's like, I think you go into it expecting like, oh, like we know sort of the way these movies go, you know, like they're trying to get somewhere, they're going to fight, they're completely different, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh man, they're having all these like really intense confrontations, and like it's like
real stuff though, not like, I don't want to like rip on another movie, but like like you said, we all have seen that like setup before of like a road trip movie with guys that don't want to be together.
Right.
Nothing to Lose. That was a good one.
I haven't seen that
Was
one.
it a Due Date? Was there one?
No, nothing. But Due Date, yes, that's the one.
Like Galifianakis.
Yes.
Robert Downey.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've referenced multiple films on this.
Poor.
No, that's great though. You have more. I mean, I can't. I like watch a lot of movies, but I can't pull any out of my ass like that. You just.
Yeah, you
quick.
like forget what you've seen.
Yeah,
right?
I'm like, I'm trying to run through it in my mind. What have I watched? Did I watch anything all this time?
Yeah. Well, it's about like pulling those moments. I feel like you find little moments in films that really stick with you.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'd say so.
No, it's great. I'm like more of a TV show person because I want to like really get into it. Like, you know, like sometimes I feel like movies have to like kind of brush over a lot of things.
Right.
Like they don't really have the
rush
time.
the development
Right.
of something.
Yeah, but a lot of shows have so much time to fill.
Yeah.
In terms of like character development, it's just like, ugh.
I feel like,
True. Very
and I
true.
feel like with like The Irishman, people expected like if that was a miniseries, you wouldn't think twice about the pacing.
Sure.
Of it. But we've been like sort of
Yeah.
conditioned to think
Yeah.
about movies should be a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, I love the slow burn type of thing.
Same.
Anyway, yeah, but
I
I
would've
totally
watched-
agree
I
with what
would've
you're
watched
saying.
that film beginning to end if I didn't have things to do. I mean, it's a long
Right.
film.
Yeah.
But like you said, I mean, the pacing didn't bother me. Some people were griping about that, but I thought it was fine. I would have, like you said, you had to like get up and eat and go eat and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But
I think
Yeah.
they should have an intermission. Like if you're going
Like
to see
in
that
Gone with
series.
the Wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't like 20 minutes.
Should do that more.
Get a
Yeah.
break, cigarette, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because then when you get out of the theater, everyone's going to the bathroom,
Yeah.
and it's like it's a madhouse. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Or you feel like if you have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the movie, you're like so anxious about it. You're like, I know as
That's
soon
all
as
you can
I
think
walk out of
about.
this door, something crazy
Yeah,
is gonna
it's gonna
happen.
pop
and,
off.
like,
yeah, yes,
that's always my worst.
I'll sit there and just suffer.
Yeah, I suck it up.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I won't get up.
Yeah.
I did that for Endgame. I just sat through the whole thing.
Oh wow, that's really long.
I think I
too.
did too.
Yeah.
I felt like shell shocked after I got out of Endgame. I don't know what it was, man. I was just like I just been beaten
It's a
over the
lot.
head
All
for a
that
long
stimulation.
time. Yeah, it was too
And
much.
then
Yeah.
on top of that, you have to piss really bad.
Yeah, you're
know,
like,
so
oh, I
it's-
feel
oh my
so
gosh.
much pressure.
My brain was like mush. I feel like after I got out of that movie.
Yeah.
I've kind of felt that way. Just I think more like taken aback when I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I haven't seen that either.
Oh.
I saw it.
That's another. When I first saw it, I was like, "This is going at a snail's fucking pace." I was
Yeah.
like, "What are we watching?" Because I also walked into the theater like not actually knowing anything about the movie. Like
Yeah.
somebody was just like, "Let's go,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Right, we're going." And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, "What are we watching now?"
It's like a
And
hangout
then-
movie.
Yeah.
It's like people are
I'm
just
like, Jesus,
kicking it.
what are we even talking about right now? And then when I watched it again, I was like, this is amazing. And I love every second of it. And
Yeah.
it's just like,
Oh,
'Cause I knew
man.
it was going
I
on.
gotta watch it.
yeah.
I think I'm like one of the few people. Who
I have
haven't seen
some critiques with that movie, but for the most part, I do enjoy it. Especially the DiCaprio stuff.
Yeah.
All like his career trajectory, I
Yeah.
thought was really good.
yeah.
And I would just watch him on set, like breaking down all day. That was hilarious. You're losing it, Rick.
Everyone hates
See these
you.
references. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, what? Lost.
You got plenty of Lost?
No.
I love
I
that
mean, the
yeah.
references.
You wanna talk
to the
about
film.
You want
Lost?
to talk about
Well, let's talk about Lost. I mean, but that's
I've never
I was talking
seen
about
that.
references to the movie. I've never seen Lost either. Never
Sure.
watched it.
Good show. That was kind of like the first TV show that was like, well, I was pretty young. I mean, there was like other ones before it. Like I started getting into The Wire and Breaking Bad and all that. But Lost was like the first TV show I felt like I was like obsessed with and wanted to like binge it, you know,
Yeah.
whenever that came out, like 2003 or something.
Early
Really?
2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
I don't think I watched
All
one
those
episode of
years
Lost.
ago. No. I think by the time I like realized what was going on, it was too far in, and I was like, I'm not gonna watch it now. Like, it's
Time
too-
has passed.
Yeah, my moment's
Screw it.
My moment's gone.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna happen. Yeah, same with Breaking Bad. I like tried to watch it, and I was like, this isn't working for me. Can't do it.
I watched.
I don't have nothing to say to you about that.
I binged that with an ex some years ago, and I don't remember anything. Like I don't remember anything from and it took me a long time to watch it then. And then she's like,
blocked
"Let's
out
watch this," and I'm like, "Okay."
She pushed you into it?
Yeah, and I don't remember anything. Like, what am I watching? I remember.
I've probably gotten
they're
like
in the
3 or
desert.
4 people to watch that show. And I like doing that because I feel like when I get to watch a show again, it feels fresh. It's like I'm
Yeah.
watching
You
it
watch it
through
with
fresh
them.
eyes.
For
you
sure.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I see how they react to it for the first time. I'm like,
Yeah.
did you see that?
Yeah, I tried to do that with Game of
Did
Thrones.
you notice that?
Did you see
moment?
that part that I really like?
Shh, watch this. Watch this moment.
Stop talking for a second. Just look right now.
You're not that annoying person who's like who gives cues every time something's gonna come up.
I don't know.
Okay, here's this part coming up.
No, I don't do that.
They're important.
There's a big moment coming next episode, just so you know.
Or like they're like, is this person gonna get hurt? Are they gonna die? And you're like, I don't know.
I'm like,
I don't know.
I'll try to trip them up. Yeah.
The power in that is so.
I can tell you if you really want to know.
You really enjoy that power. Huh?
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I've done that with Game of Thrones with a few people. I've like watched some episodes. I'm just watching their reaction. I'm just like, this is cool. I just love watching them react to it.
Yeah.
I know.
Dead to me.
Dead to you? Is it the last episode?
Oh my god.
Or last couple episodes? Last season.
It's pathetic.
It fell off. Yeah. It fell off hard, but you know,
it was still brilliant.
It's hard to make stuff. You know, I think we all want to just like.
That's fair.
I try to just like spend my time now just talking about the things that I do like as much as possible, and because life is too short. And not to say critiques aren't valid and necessary and stuff. They totally are, but just for like on a personal level, I guess after making a movie, I realized this is really freaking hard. It's really hard to do this.
Yeah.
Sure.
So when you see something like The Irishman or I keep bringing that damn movie up. Whatever it is.
Keep it up,
just
man. Keep bringing it up. It's a great film.
Whatever it is, like it's reduced to like, movie's garbage. Like, no, man. Like, you know how many people put like so much of their time and effort and it's like it can't be. It's not that simple,
Mm-hmm.
because there's always things about it. Even if you don't like connect to the story or it drags for you a little bit. There's always, whether it's the production design, the costume design, the effects, the dialogue, there's always things about it that are good, you know? And I don't know. So I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
You're talking about the power.
You're making sense.
Yeah.
Kind
It's
of.
great.
Totally.
It's a powerful thing.
That was my rant. It's over. It's over now.
I appreciate it.
Let's find other stuff to rant about. What other shows?
You can go on. Or
I'm sorry.
we could just
I thought you wanted to
break down the wall. When it comes to
Come on, hop over in.
So for those who want to follow along with what's going on with Avoid and other projects that you have going on, how can they do that?
Well, we have a Facebook page that we co-manage together because Mu-Shaka's a lot better at social media than I am.
I'm okay.
It's not my strong suit.
Yeah, I try.
No, he's great. And so you can find us on there. I don't know how we get them to find. Just look up. It's like Avoid face. I should have looked this up before the.
I mean, just go on Facebook.
I thought about that too a couple days ago.
Avoid Facebook. Avoid movie Facebook.
Yeah,
you'll
find it.
We'll put the link on
poster.
this.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Boom.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have an artist page. And
I have an artist page titled, my name. It's the same thing.
Great.
And you'll see my face. So yeah, if you want to follow me there.
Yeah, and message me out of the blue. Anyone who wants to kick it, to chill, is interested in producing.
I keep getting messages. I'm sorry, you just reminded me. I keep getting messages from these random. I think they're bots, right? And they're like, "We have this offer to." I don't respond to them, but I keep getting them. Like, it's always some different. Not to take this in that direction, but I mean,
what bots?
I don't know. Like
what bots?
These profiles that I don't recognize. I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
Okay,
and they're like in my inbox trying to solicit me for like some advertising, some stupid crap.
Some
lies. Who are you people? Yeah.
Some lies.
I never open
That's
them.
all it
I
is.
just see like the pre. What do you call that?
Yeah. The
you know you are not who you say you are.
Yeah, so don't be one of those people, but
But if you have ideas.
If you want to hang out and kick it, messages. But if you're a bot, don't do it.
Don't you dare.
Don't even think about it.
Stay away from
Stay
us.
away, bots.
Stay away, bots.
Real people, you should come share your ideas.
Please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, but follow the page. Follow Avoid. And we'll be putting this link on there. Is there a link?
Yeah.
There's going to be a link.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. There's
We'll
going to be a link.
You see our faces.
And let's link and build.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this isn't a multi-tiered marketing scheme, but let's link and build.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.